So happy Halloween. Tomorrow's Halloween. And there's a couple of good funny like pranks you can pull on people. To just have some fun, a few scare things just to, ramp up the holiday. All right, here's something you can do. All right? You want to awaken the dead, right? So you lie still wearing dark clothing when you know your friends are going to be walking by. And when they do, outstretch your arms and pretend to be awakening and pretend to be an awakened dead person. You're going to give them quite a fright. Or you can sit in a chair when kids come by the house trick-or-treating and you sit very still and you don't make a sound. And then as soon as they come up to you, you go, bah! I did that. I scared quite a few kids. I think some of them had to be hospitalized. It was okay though. All right, it was just they were fine. Not a big deal. Everything came out. Everything was okay. Hey, you can put fake spiders and other insects in your friends' yards. It's not really. You can always dress in a hospital gown on Halloween night, walk around and say things like, I am not crazy. I am not crazy. And make sure the back flap of the the hospital gown is open. Must. That's a must. Definitely moon people. Definitely do that. You can put plastic flamingos all over your yard as a great prank. Nothing says Halloween like flamingos. You must live in Cheektowaga, New York in order for you to do this, though. Okay, you got to be a resident of Cheektowaga. You want to know some signs that you're too old for trick-or-treating? You get out of breath from knocking on a door. You ask for high-fiber candy. When people say, great Keith Richards mask, and you're not wearing a mask, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. He is one of the ugliest men on the planet, and he's got gorgeous girlfriends. I can't figure that out. Keith Richards, Rolling Stones. I mean, he looks like somebody stomped on his face, threw up on it, and then ran it over with a truck. And he's got some hot-looking girlfriends. I don't get that. I just don't get that. All right, a couple of things to avoid. All right, a couple of rules for Halloween. Don't go trick-or-treating to a house that's sinking into the ground. Okay, so if you see a house that's half in and half out of the ground, don't go there. All right, that's not a good sign. All right, and don't go into a basement. All right, when you see a light in a basement and then the light goes out, don't get the need like they do in those movies to go investigate it. All right, okay, don't go in the woods at night, half dressed. And when you see a guy in a hockey mask, ask him, oh, hello, how are you? And what are you doing out here? Don't do that. That's a sure way to get killed. Trust me. Oh, and if you and your friends are planning a vacation every year, you get together and say, hey, let's plan a vacation. Go to Disney World. Don't go to that lake that 30 other kids were murdered the year before. You ever notice in movies, it's like they always like, hey, let's go to Camp Sunshine, Oh yeah, sure, good idea. Yeah, 32 kids were like slaughtered there last year. Yeah. No, let's not go to Disney. Let's go there. Don't do that. Okay? All right? If a monster is chasing you, don't go into an abandoned building up to the highest floor because the only escape is to jump. If a monster's chasing you, just play dead. I mean, he'll probably kill you anyway, but I mean, it's worth a shot. Okay. All right. If on a dark and stormy night, okay, this is very, very important. On a dark and stormy night, if your car runs out of gas, do not go to the nearest deserted house with eerie green lights. Okay? Just walk until you see a gas station. All right? Don't go looking for witches in the Maryland countryside. And do not go to houses made of gingerbread because they're probably owned by witches who are going to cook you and eat you. Trust me on this one. All right? All right? The number one house to avoid on Halloween. Number one. A house that wasn't there a few seconds before. Okay, so you're going trick-or-treating, you're walking by, you see an empty lot, right? You get to the end of the block, you come back, and then there's a house where the empty lot was. Don't go there. If the house wasn't there a couple seconds ago, just avoid it, all right? All right? Just don't do that. Okay, if your child's head starts spinning around, okay, and they, and they speak in those deep, dark voices like they did in the next, your mother sucks. Okay, if that happens, get out. Get out of the house. Okay? Like if you're at home and you want to go tuck little Timmy into bed and little Timmy's head starts spinning and spewing green pea soup out of his mouth. Bye. You're on your own, kiddo. See ya. All right. And let's see. Finally, if you find yourself alone on a rowboat in the middle of a foggy lake in the middle of the night, which is a common occurrence, I mean, let's face it, that happens to everybody, and you see bubbles coming up from the water, row fast. You're still going to die, but row fast anyway. Happy Halloween.